chronic fatigue, weight gain, anxiety, depression, joint pain, thinning hair, brain fog, feeling cold all the time. Guys, these are all the signs of an underactive thyroid. Hey, this is Dr. Ernst, and I know what you might be thinking. My thyroid's fine. My doctor tested it. My numbers are normal. But guys, they're missing the mark tremendously. Conventional medicine only tests 2 markers for your thyroid, yet there's over 10 thyroid tests that can reveal if your symptoms are because of an underactive thyroid. And I'm here to tell you it happens all the time. Why don't you download my Thyroid Heal Thyself ebook? You'll find answers as to what you can do to burn fat, feel great, lose weight, thicken your hair, and get your energy and your brain back, and it's all free. Simply text the word thyroid with your name and email to 704-906-2094, and as a bonus, I'm hosting a free live masterclass Saturday, April 12th. It's at 10 a.m. in the morning. Text the word thyroid with your name and email to 704-906-2094.
Beyond wine, we really care about health, the health of the planet and the health of each other. That's what inspired us to start this business. Our family of team members meets every morning for a group meditation, followed by an open gratitude session. We believe a sound mind with a focus on peace is the best instrument for change. Joint meditation is the cornerstone of our company culture, and it helps us remember what's important, spreading joy and love, just like our family growers. Our family is a collection of passionate, health-conscious individuals who love to laugh and enjoy each other's company. We eat seasonally, grow our own vegetables, cook together, and share wine. Our team is incredibly dedicated to our mission. Everything from sourcing the wines to answering service questions. Your natural wines were found and sourced around the world by our wine team. They taste every one, oversee their lab testing, and choose exactly which ones go in which box. If you order, your individual box will be packed by our incredibly hardworking fulfillment team. If you have any questions, your service requests will be handled by a wonderfully loving member experience family who only have one goal in mind, your 100% happiness. This video is put together by our talented media team, filmed and edited in-house, just like the rest of our artful media. From our unique creations to our printed lifestyle piece called A Matter of Taste. We put love into everything we do, and we hope to share it with you.
Would you like to experience a better night's sleep? Want to feel well rested and ready for your day? Discover an amazing solution with Celient Sleep Recovery. Our Celient Sleep Recovery products are made from a patented yarn embedded with a blend of 13 infrared active minerals. Celient technology never washes out. The benefits will last for their entire lifespan. Minerals reflect the body's own energy by using Celient infrared active technology, boosting your oxygen levels and improving circulation to reach REM sleep gracefully. Our customers love to comfortably sleep throughout the night because of Celient. We've conducted 9 independent clinical studies by well-respected scientific institutions and universities that prove the many positive effects Celient has on the body. Our technology is designed to help you achieve a refreshing sleep recovery. Get into bed to experience our smooth Celient Egyptian cotton blend sheets. Protect your mattress against the sands of time with our Celient mattress protectors. With our pillow protectors, you get the benefits of our recovery therapy. Explore new places and feel well rested throughout your journeys. Discover luxurious support that allows you to sleep in almost any position. Neck blankets are small and compact. You can bring them with you just about anywhere. Experience the foundation your body deserves. Start waking up refreshed and always ready for the day ahead. It's time to achieve the best sleep of your life to unlock your hidden potential. Start experiencing a better night's sleep with our Celient Sleep Recovery products today. Celient. Recycle your body's energy.
Good afternoon. Happy Saturday. You're listening to the Ask Dr. Ernst show. My name is Dr. Ernst, and hey, it's a show where pounds are shed, disease is dead, and where you get to be set free from your health problems when you become your own functional physician. Today, we're discussing the conversation of hypothyroidism, continuing the series on the functional reasons why so many of us are tired all the time, we're gaining weight, our hair's thinning out, we're having difficulties with constipation, depression, low libido, or we're noticing that our memory's slipping. And I'm here to tell you something. Even if you're thinking, Doc, my thyroid is fine, I just had my tests, everything looks great, it still could be what's known as subclinical hypothyroidism. And we're discussing today the connection between toxicity and subluxation and how that shuts down our thyroid over time, causing our bodies to become deficient in their natural states of healing. Today's episode is going to expose the hidden epidemic, one that's quietly stealing your energy, closing off your mind, slowing your metabolism, and hijacking your hormones. It is the fact of toxin-induced hypothyroidism and subluxation. If these symptoms, again, of tired all the time, gaining weight, fatigued, hair's thinning, skin's brittle, libido's dropping, memory slipping, sounds like you, then I'm going to give you the answers as how you can solve your body's health and bounce back so you can become vibrant, alive, and active and healing again. We're going to break down the top 5 toxins that are affecting thyroid functionality, everything from halogens hiding in your water to glyphosate in your food to heavy metals either in the environment or in your mouth, and how sneaky plastics and PCBs can silently build up in your body, causing issues. Then we're going to discuss the most overlooked issue, how your spine and nervous system is directly connected to thyroid functionality, technically all organ functionality. And we're going to break down the power of chiropractic and how it can help you to stimulate your spine and your nervous system so your thyroid turns on. So we're going to uncover in the first segment heavy metal toxicity, glyphosate, PCBs, halogens, and how they affect it. Just like insulin resistance, your body can become resistant at a thyroid level, which means your cells are not listening to the active hormones that make you feel vibrant, alive, great, and burn fat. And most importantly, I'm going to show you a functional medicine approach and a detox to help pull these so that naturally you can start reclaiming your energy and your focus and your metabolism and your health. And all during the show today, we are giving away our Thyroid Heal Thyself ebook. It's a functional approach to solving subclinical and diagnostic thyroid. So if you're somebody taking levothyroxine, Armothroid, Synthroid, or if you're dealing with those symptoms, brain fog, forgetfulness, tired all the time, achy joints, cold intolerance, hair's thinning, and you're not losing weight, this is the show for you. Text the word thyroid with your name and email to 704-906-2094. We'll zip the ebook over to you for free today. And on Saturday, April 12th, I'm hosting Thyroid Heal Thyself. It's an online live masterclass, which you'll also get access to. And here's the kicker of today. The number, 704-906-2094. Text your name, your email, and the word thyroid right now. We'll send you the ebook for free. We'll get you connected to the masterclass, 704-906-2094. So if you're experiencing symptoms that sound like low thyroid, no matter if you've been diagnosed or not, don't ignore them. This could be your body's wake-up call. So stick with me during this hour. We're going to teach you the top 5 toxins that are breaking down thyroid functionality. And in segment 2, as we come back for the commercial break, how your spine and nervous system is intimately connected with thyroid health and why so many people are struggling with weight loss resistance, energy issues, fatigue, of course, that comes with that, brain fog, forgetfulness, weight loss resistance, and the idea that many of us are losing interest in life, right? It's the fact that we're just tapering down. So what's the number one toxin associated with thyroid functionality? Well, it's halogens. And this is unique because it's fluoride, chlorine, and bromine. Your thyroid relies on a very special mineral. We talked about this before, iodine. And I want you to think of iodine as like ink. It's what lets your thyroid produce thyroid hormone. But halogens like fluoride, chlorine, and bromine are chemically similar to iodine, so they sit in the same column on the periodic table, which means your body can mistake them for iodine. And in this tragic mistake, it's at a molecular level, so your body sucks the halogens in instead of iodine, and they begin to compete for iodine. So your thyroid's iodine supporters, the molecular doors that allow iodine in, cannot tell the difference between iodine and imposter halogens. So instead of being filled with building blocks that make your thyroid make hormones, your gland can start to become full of other chemicals, and thus we can't produce the hormone. Even worse, fluoride in particular can suppress the activity of the enzyme thyroid peroxidase, which is responsible for the production of thyroid hormone. It's like handing your thyroid the right ingredients, but stealing the chef's hands so that you don't have a chef to produce the final product. Without functional thyroid peroxidase, thyroid hormone stimulation can grind to a halt, and this is the number one issue behind halogens, fluoride, chlorine, and bromine, and thyroid functionality. The net result is a functional iodine deficiency, even if your diet has enough iodine, so you could be eating seaweed or taking iodine supplements. But if your thyroid is saturated with halogens, fluoride, chloride, and bromine, you can't physically pull the iodine in, and you cannot produce thyroid hormone. Thus, it shows up as hypothyroid. So where do these halogens come from? Well, you might be surprised to learn that most of them are found in plain sight in your daily routines. Fluoride is often added to municipal city waters, so it's in drinking water. It's also in a lot of dental products, right? So your toothpaste often has fluoride inside of it. And while it might harden your enamel, it can also harden your thyroid. Drinking tap water and brushing with conventional fluoridated toothpaste, Crest and Colgate and all the standard ones you find over the counter, bathing and showering in unfiltered water can all lead to a halogen overload. Chlorine, of course, as we know, is found in drinking water. They use it as a disinfectant to try to clean the water. And it ends up in household products as well. So cleaning products, specifically, of course, bleach. Inhaling chlorine during a steam shower and absorbing it through your skin while swimming or in a hot tub or just in any sort of water that's treated with chlorine is the number one source, and it accumulates over time. And just like chlorine, bromine is also a big one. It's found in soft drinks and pharmaceuticals, even flame retardants that are used on furnitures. The trouble is bromine has no physiological benefit. There's no purpose for it whatsoever. The presence is purely artificial, and these halogens can physically damage your thyroid by affecting productivity. The challenge is halogens are not fat soluble like most toxins. They're particularly tricky to eliminate. They don't bind easily to detox pathways found in the liver, which means they often stay embedded inside of tissues. This can lead to long-term thyroid suppression because your body holds the halogens and the fluorides and the chlorides and the bromides in the tissue, and it can lead to an autoimmunity, which adding to the problem only makes it worse. Moreover, stress and adrenal dysfunction can increase halogen retention. So your body becomes stressed, we start to absorb more of the halogens, and they stay in us for long periods of time. I want you to think of the bigger issue is also that they can block the receptors. In short, halogens don't just interfere with hormone production, they interfere with the communication. If they block the receptor, the thyroid hormone can't land and create activity. And this is the number one challenge of today. It's the toxicity associated with halogen, fluorides, and bromines. Number two is glyphosate. Glyphosate is the active ingredient found in Roundup. It's often hailed as a safe herbicide, yet the molecular fingerprint is more of a sinister story because it's a metal chelator. So glyphosate binds to things like zinc and selenium and manganese and magnesium, which are nutrients that your thyroid needs for normal functionality. Without selenium, you can't make thyroid hormone. And so if glyphosate is present, it's robbing your body of nutrients. It's also known to obliterate the gut microbiome. It was patented technically to also be somewhat of an antibiotic. So by decimating the bacteria in your intestines, it can lead to an inflammatory process that creates leaky gut. And we discussed previously how leaky gut is the number one source for autoimmune antibodies that lead to Hashimoto's thyroiditis. Also, glyphosate is known to interfere with the pathways of thyroid hormone productivity. So it shuts the productivity down. It opens up the pathways in your kidneys so you actually excrete your thyroid hormones. So imagine you're just urinating thyroid hormones out. It's all because of glyphosate exposure. And the challenge is glyphosate isn't just being sprayed on crops. Today, because of contamination, it's in our air, it's in our water, it's in our food supply. Non-organic wheat products, oats, corn, soy, even sugar and sugar beets and vegetables are heavily sprayed. And they're not just sprayed before the harvest, it's also a desiccating agent. So it's something they use to dry the foods after they've been picked. There's an alarming connection between glyphosate and hypothyroidism. Drinking water is one of the main sources today, particularly in the communities that have runoff from neighboring farms. A 2017 study found that glyphosate is found in 93% of urine samples tested amongst individuals across the United States today. 93% of us have glyphosate inside of us, and it's a major causation because it affects the receptor of the thyroid hormone directly. Glyphosate doesn't just impair the production, doesn't just shut down the ability for your thyroid to make the hormone, it blocks how your cells physically respond to the hormone. By mimicking glycine and inserting itself into receptor proteins, so like the binder for where the thyroid hormone connects, glyphosate has the ability to alter and change the shape of the receptor. So think of it like this. You have to have a thyroid hormone receptor that can receive thyroid hormone. When glyphosate is present in your body, it alters that receptor, so now the thyroid hormone no longer fits. It's like trying to put a lightning cable into a USB-C cable. It just won't work. Glyphosate-induced inflammation also is known to drive up cortisol, which further blunts the effectiveness of thyroid hormone because high cortisol levels lower the conversion of inactive thyroid hormone into active thyroid hormone. And because glyphosate is known to directly affect the microbiome, it is a key player in the Hashimoto's thyroid autoimmune disease. Toxin number 3, this is a big one, heavy metals, mercury, lead, aluminum, and cadmium. Heavy metals act like, I'll call them molecular vandals. They don't just block function, they literally destroy the infrastructure behind the thyroid. So you have to understand this. Inside your thyroid is a hormone called thyroid peroxidase. It is essential for taking iodine and a protein called globulin, merging them together to make thyroid hormone. In particular, you want to think about mercury as it has the ability to get stuck inside the thyroid and cause an inflammatory process, shutting down the enzymes so then you can't produce thyroid hormone. Lead, particularly, is another heavy metal that interferes with calcium metabolism. Since the thyroid regulates energy productivity and we need energy to make the body work, lead can block the hypothalamic pituitary axis, which means TSH becomes irregular because of heavy metals disrupting the hormone loop within the brain. Aluminum and cadmium are also less discussed, but they're very harmful when it comes to thyroid functionality. Aluminum can cross the blood-brain barrier and it alters the ability for the thyroid to receive the signal from TSH because the pituitary gland become affected. Cadmium can interfere with zinc and selenium uptake, making it difficult for the thyroid to actually produce a hormone in the first place. Where do these come from? Well, mercury typically is exposed to us through the fish we eat, dental amalgams we have in our mouth, and various vaccines we've received as we were younger, because mercury used to be a stabilizer in vaccines. Lead is still available today in old plumbing pipes and outdated paint and even some cosmetics. And it's found, unfortunately, in a lot of drinking water. Aluminum is widely used in cooking foils and antiperspirants, vaccines, even processed foods, especially where it's in things like baking powders and baking sodas. It accumulates over time, and the challenge is that it becomes neurotoxic. So it affects the way we think. A lot of brain fog can come from heavy metal toxicities due to aluminum. Cadmium exposure is typically found from cigarette smoking or secondhand smoke, and even from some shellfish. Cadmium is often found in phosphate-based fertilizers, and so the danger lies in the fact that we've all been exposed to these toxins, specifically heavy metals, and they start to accumulate in our tissues. Most specifically, they bind to the bones and your liver and your kidneys, but very, very uniquely, they get inside the thyroid and they disrupt the productivity so your body doesn't make enough thyroid hormone. So when T4 levels start to drop due to heavy metal toxicity, TSH goes up, and then conventional physicians will tag that as hypothyroidism, and then we get down the trap, unfortunately, of taking medications. Receptor resistance is another big issue. When heavy metals bind to the receptor of the hormone for thyroid, it blunts it. I want you to think of it as like it's taking a key and putting it into a lock and breaking it off and then asking yourself to come with another key and try to open that lock. Mercury and lead disrupt the lipid membranes of our cells, so the actual membranes themselves, which make the receptors very difficult to open, so thyroid hormone cannot land. When thyroid hormone doesn't land on the cell, you don't get the active energy that you need. It produces energy for the body, but it won't work if the receptor is blunted. In addition, heavy metals upregulate the production of what's called reverse T3. We spent all of last week discussing that. It is a toxic form of thyroid hormone that binds to the receptors and blunts it, making you feel tired and fatigued, brain fogged, and forgetful. This suppresses metabolism, which makes us then gain weight, and we start to look as if we have hypothyroidism, even though our labs say they're normal. The immune system can often also target these, and when we see antibodies being produced against mercury and aluminum and lead, and it goes against the receptors and against the peroxidase enzyme, now Hashimoto's starts to show up. Toxin number 4, bisphenol A. This is a big one. It's found in a lot of plastic products. Inside of your body, it can masquerade hormones, so it's a mimicker. And the challenge is that when bisphenol A combined to receptors, it destroys the hormone signaling. Think of it as it drives estrogen dominance for most people. And it interferes with the peroxidase enzyme directly, which is the key component, again, of taking iodine and thyroglobulin, connecting them together to make thyroid hormone. This isn't just theoretical, by the way. Animal studies have shown that bisphenol A directly inhibits the production of thyroid hormone by inhibiting the peroxidase enzymes found inside the thyroid. To make matters worse, bisphenol A is also known to block the enzyme called deiodinase, which is what takes inactive thyroid hormone T4 and turns it into active hormone T3. So these enzymes are responsible for you to produce active thyroid hormone, and if bisphenol A is blocking them, then we can't make active thyroid hormone. It would be like trying to drive your car without any gas. Your body just physically runs out of energy and productivity. We gain weight, our brain fog starts to kick in, etc. Bisphenol A is often found in plastic food containers, water bottles, canned food linings, receipts that we get from cashiers and gas stations. They're loaded with bisphenol A. So every time you drink from a plastic water bottle, or you microwave food in plastic, or you are eating from canned food items, we're being exposed to bisphenol A. Studies show that 90% of people in the United States have bisphenol A in their urine. So we have like 97% of us have glyphosate, 90% of us have bisphenol A. And because it accumulates in the body, the challenge is the only way to get it out is to increase fatty acid oxidation and a process known as phase 1, phase 2 detox of the liver. Your liver is responsible for tagging bisphenol A and removing it. But what happens is we need things like glutathione and methylated B vitamins and glycine and glutamine, and most of us are deficient in them. So our liver gets accumulated to levels that we can't handle, and we become toxic, and then the effect is felt by disruption in hormone functionality. Bisphenol A is known to directly block the receptor of the hormone. So again, mercury binds to the hormones, lead binds to the hormones, glyphosate binds to the hormones. Halogens, fluorine, chlorine, and bromine, they shut off the productivity of thyroid hormones. So we end up having symptoms associated with hypothyroid, but we don't recognize that the connection is because of the fact that we're toxic. Studies have shown that bisphenol A binds directly to thyroid hormones, blocking the ability for T3 to land, and this cellular resistance contributes to the fact that most of us have symptoms, again, of brain fog, forgetfulness, cold hands, cold feet, and we often don't recognize that it's because of the toxins that we're exposed to. To make matters worse, bisphenol A is what's called a partial agonist, meaning it binds to the receptor and can activate it in the opposite pattern. So think of it this way. You want thyroid hormone T3 to land on the receptor. It makes you feel great, have a ton of energy, burn fat, and be sharp, focused, and attentive. But when bisphenol A lands on the receptor, it does the exact opposite. It acts like reverse T3, makes you tired and fatigued and forgetful, and we gain weight. And when we do everything right, we work out, we exercise, we take our medications, and we're not addressing toxicity, the effect is not corrected. And so we still end up with the symptoms despite doing everything right. Toxin number 5, polychlorinated bisphenols. This is a big one, guys. They're typically found in industrial products, things that we use on a regular basis. But because they are now, I'll call them cross-contaminated, many of the components of things that we use today. So beauty care products and even water and food and proteins, the animals, the fish, the chicken, the turkey, the eggs that we eat, they're all contaminated. At a production level, polychlorinated bisphenols, PCBs, shut off the ability for thyroid releasing hormone to come out, and it blocks thyroid stimulation hormone. So this is the big kicker here. It shuts off your brain's communication to your thyroid. Then the same PCBs shut off the thyroid peroxidase enzyme, which is what produces the hormone. So perhaps the most troubling is that PCBs are also found to shut off the transportation of the thyroid hormone. So PCBs block thyroid stimulation hormone from the brain. They block the thyroid production of the hormone in the thyroid, and they block the carrying protein, which brings it out into the blood. And even more, unfortunately, they block the receptor in and of itself. Though PCBs were banned, they're still found in a lot of primary sources today. They can accumulate in the body. Typically, dairy products and eggs that come from conventional range farms are high in PCBs. Fish that are often farm-raised are high in PCBs. Unfortunately, because most of us have it inside of us, many humans themselves are toxic with PCBs. They are in the category of what's called persistent organic pollutants because they hang around forever. So what we need to do is start activating a detox process. And you can find the steps to do that in our Thyroid Heal Thyself ebook. Simply text the word thyroid plus your name and email to 704-906-2094. I'll zip this over to you today. It has a step-by-step guide as how to remove these toxins that are known to cause thyroid functionality dysfunctions. Briefly, let me discuss how to do this. Number one, you have to identify the source and remove it. So think of it as we need to start cleaning up our food supply. We need to clean up our water. Switching to 100% organic produce is going to help to reduce glyphosate and other components like PCBs. Avoiding canned food items and using glass instead of plastic will reduce the BPAs and the PCBs. Making sure we have good filtering systems in our water to remove chlorine and fluorine and bromine will prevent us from being exposed to this. So step one is like protecting your body. You have to stop the exposure. Step number two is we need to open up your drainage pathways. So we got to use your body actually eliminating. Detoxification is a beautiful process for this. So we can start by using things like activated charcoal and bentonite clays to start binding toxins in the bowels for safe elimination. To support your liver so we can enhance detoxification, we can use things like N-acetylcysteine, glutathione, milk thistle, and B vitamins. These are often found in a lot of detox products. We can start to get your lymph moving by doing rebounding or even introducing chiropractic care, which gets your body moving and helps fluids to flush through. You can start doing cellular detoxification at a molecular level. Get tested. Find out how many toxins you have. The beautiful part of today is there's urine and blood and even hair tests that can identify the specific toxins floating around in your body, and it helps us to know exactly what we need to do to get rid of them. Some of the most common binders: fulvic acids, humeric acids, cilantro, chlorella, even components like EDTA and binding chelation can be done to remove these. And if you do this effectively, now we can start to replenish, rebuild, and revitalize. Think of it this way. The most important nutrients that your thyroid needs are iodine, selenium, zinc, magnesium, B12, and tyrosine, which is a branched chain amino acid. If we want to get our body to start producing it more, we have to remove the exposures, detox our connections to the toxins, and then start adding back what our body needs. We can start to heal the receptors of your body by decreasing inflammation, omega-3 fatty acids, turmeric, fasting, even doing cold exposures, cold plunges, etc. Finally, we can start to turn your energy productivity back on by supporting your mitochondria. And this is where supplements like CoQ10, carnitine, alpha-lipoic acid, and D-ribose, these are all great ways to stimulate mitochondrial function to help your body stimulate functionality of your thyroid. So there we go. The top 5 toxins associated with hypothyroidism that most people are underlooking: halogens, fluorine, chlorine, bromide, glyphosate, heavy metals, bisphenol A, PCBs, and the components of how they block the production of the enzyme in the first place. I highly implore you to start thinking. If you're somebody who is tired all the time, forgetful, brain fogging, having difficulty losing weight, download the Thyroid Heal Thyself ebook. And I know what you might be thinking, but I don't have a thyroid problem. But that's my whole point. If you have a toxicity, you're starting to develop a thyroid problem. Text the word thyroid plus your name and email to 704-906-2094. We'll shoot it over today. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Chiropractic care and how to stimulate your thyroid in a non-conventional way. It's the Ask Dr. Ernst show. We'll be right back.
Wine is a fermented beverage that has been enjoyed by humanity for over 8,000 years. Our ancestors believed in its magical healing powers. Philosophers turned to it to spur new ideas and encourage lively debate. Wine has been a well-studied part of our history, but recently it's changed. The wines sold today in most stores and restaurants are not the same wines enjoyed by our ancestors. Today, wine is a highly processed, factory-made product filled with toxins and industrial additives. The grapes are farmed with machines and heavy pesticide use, and the marketing is misleading and dishonest. Wines free from this human intervention still exist. They're called natural wines. These wines are a return to the old way of making and enjoying wine. Free from commercial additives, high sugar, and heavy alcohol content, these wines are a beautiful expression of nature. They're also extremely rare. Less than 1% of the world's wines are grown to this standard. They're made in hyper small quantities by family farmers who work by hand using ancient practices. When you drink them, all of this becomes clear. You'll notice a completely new wine experience. This is the kind of wine that derive from wine sources. We search the globe looking for pure natural wines, carefully nurtured by family growers who work with nature, and we take it a step further, sourcing wines that meet our strict criteria for farming, purity, and taste. We only work with organically grown wines, farmed without irrigation and without heavy machinery. Grapes are hand-picked and then fermented using native wild yeast, not the industry standard GMO yeasts. Our wines are pure, lab-tested by an independent enologist for metrics including alcohol and sugar. They also taste extraordinary, bright, fresh, and full of life. They jump out of the glass because they aren't sterilized or heavily processed.
Like most sustainable products, sustainable coffee production is not only healthy for the environment, but it's also healthy for the body. Like our commitment to purity in every cup, our focus extends beyond taste to encompass the health of consumers and the environment. At Purity Coffee, the journey from farm to cup should be as pure and sustainable as the coffee itself. Our farmers adhere to rigorous organic farming practices, ensuring our beans are free from harmful chemicals and pesticides.
We try to make organic coffee, even though we didn't know it was organic. We just were not using chemicals or anything like it. We weren't really interested on chemicals. We wanted to have something healthy, something without needs of chemicals. So that's why we went into, by then didn't exist the word organic, I think. We're talking about on the 70s. So nowadays we know the new words, organic, sustainable, and all that. We try to do all that regardless. We didn't do it for any purpose specifically, but we did it because it's the natural things to do. We live on the farm. We have a lot of workers who are thriving to make things better every time. And they love the fact of the challenge of what to do with some waste, what to better up things, what to recycle, what to reuse.
I'm Whitney, a dietitian and diabetes educator, and you may be surprised to know that I actually recommend for my patients to drink coffee. Coffee is actually one of the richest sources of antioxidants in the Western diet. Chlorogenic acid, one of the antioxidants found in coffee, helps not only fight inflammation, which can be the root cause of so many chronic diseases, but it actually can help improve blood sugar balance. Because chlorogenic acid reduces carbohydrate absorption, it can reduce blood sugar spikes at mealtimes.
But our dedication to health doesn't stop there. Purity Coffee is not just about a great cup of coffee. It's about a commitment to protecting the environment for future generations. By partnering with sustainable farms and investing in carbon neutral practices, we minimize our ecological footprint and promote a healthier planet for all. As consumers, we have the power to drive positive change through our choices. By choosing Purity Coffee, you're not just supporting your own health, you're also championing a movement towards sustainability and environmental responsibility. So why settle for anything less than pure? Choose Purity Coffee and join us on a journey towards a healthier you and a healthier planet. Because when it comes to coffee, purity is the ultimate quality measure.
Welcome back. Good afternoon. Happy Saturday. You're listening to the Ask Dr. Ernst show. My name is Dr. Ernst. Hey, it's a show where pounds are shed, disease is dead, and where you can be set free from your health problems by becoming your own doctor. We just spent the top of the hour discussing how hypothyroidism is connected to toxicity. We went over the top 5 toxins that are known to shut off thyroid hormone functionality and block the receptors. So if you missed that, download the Thyroid Heal Thyself ebook. It's available for you for free today. Simply text the word thyroid plus your name and email to 704-906-2094. If you're somebody looking to boost your energy or break free from weight loss resistance or have thick, full, lustrous hair and just get your body back on track with how you can feel great, younger, more active, etc., believe it or not, your thyroid is intimately connected with that. And as we've discussed, even if you don't think you have a thyroid problem, you more than likely have a toxicity issue or the combination of what we're going to be talking about now, which is the number one most overlooked, underdiagnosed causes of hypothyroidism, which is spinal subluxation. Now, I want you to imagine for a moment that your thyroid isn't diseased, it's not defective. What if it's just simply disconnected? What if you're fatigued and you're gaining weight and your hair is thinning and your labs are normal, but you still don't feel fine? Could the problem be a misalignment in your spine, what is called a subluxation, blocking the very nerve signals that your thyroid desperately needs to receive the energy and the life force vibrance that it requires in order to function? Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the nervous system's connection to your thyroid, and we're going to unpack what a subluxation is. We're going to talk about the 5 reasons that you end up with subluxations, how to identify a spinal subluxation, and most specifically, the thoracic and the cervical regions that connect directly to thyroid functionality. And we're going to discuss how you can use chiropractic care properly to remove or reduce subluxations, thus allowing your body to heal by itself, and so you can break free. I even have case studies to show you of people who have been seeking assistance with their physicians, taking medications, having thyroid problems. They went the unconventional routes. They went to a chiropractor that was structural, subluxation based, which we'll talk about today, removed the interference on their spines, and the thyroid starts to heal and repair. So if you're looking for more information on how to do this, again, download the Thyroid Heal Thyself ebook. It's completely free today. Text the word thyroid plus your name and email to 704-906-2094. Hey, during the last commercial break, we had over 75 people text in asking to attend the Thyroid Heal Thyself Masterclass Summit that's coming up in just 2 weeks. Saturday, April 12th, I'm hosting an online live event. If you're someone who is tired all the time, fatigued, despite sleeping for 6, 7, 8 plus hours, if you're somebody who's taking a thyroid medication, levothyroxine, Armithyroid, Synthroid, and you're looking for, is there a way out? The answer is yes. If you are noticing your hair is thinning or your brain is foggy and you're having difficulty with memory, focus, attention, like about 99% of all of us, it could be a subclinical hypothyroid state that many of us are not addressing until we get diagnosed, and then it's off to the medication route. So again, the event is live. It's on Saturday, April 12th. Just simply text the word thyroid plus your name and email to 704-906-2094. You can join now the hundreds of people that are hopping on. And I think it's amazing because when I say, do you want to get more energy? And would you like to lose 20 pounds? And would you like to get your vibrance and your energy back? The texts start coming in. But if I say, do you want to get your thyroid better and have your hormones get back on track again and get your blood work back on track again? Sometimes it's crickets. Usually it's because we want vibrance and essence and functionality, and you can have all of that. So what is a subluxation? Let's begin by defining the word that's at the very heart of chiropractic, but it's almost something that's never discussed in conventional medicine. Subluxation. I know it sounds like a complicated term, but in fact, it's actually quite simple when you understand the basics. A subluxation is when one or more of your spinal bones, i.e. the individual vertebrae themselves, are out of normal position. And it's not just the bone being out of place, it's the fact that the misalignment causes a critical irritation to the nerve that is associated with that region. So very simply, your spine has 24 individual vertebrae, and there's nerves that exit from each vertebra, and that nerve goes to a specific region of the body. So when a vertebra is misaligned, it compresses and irritates that nerve that runs through a small hole that exits, and the nerves are literally the communication lines between your brain and your body. So it's this simple, right? Imagine your brain trying to talk to your thyroid. So think of it this way. Hey, thyroid. We, the brain, are sensing that there's not enough thyroid hormone. We need more thyroid hormone. There's a signal sent from the brain to the pituitary to release thyroid stimulation hormone, and there's also a signal sent from the brain to the thyroid to make it wake up and turn on its enzymes so it starts functioning. If there is a subluxation, it could physically be choking that signal. So what is the thyroid here? Something like that of when you're trying to talk to someone on the phone and you drive through a tunnel. All of a sudden, the communication becomes jarbled and disconnected. You're still talking on one end, they're still listening on the other end, but you can't actually hear. The distortion is what creates negative effects to the tissue. So think of it like a garden hose. You're at the spigot, you turn on full blast, but at the end, nothing's coming out. The water pressure hasn't changed. The hose itself is pinched. That's what a subluxation is like. It pinches off the vital flow of communication from your brain to your organs. And in the case of your thyroid, this means an altered hormone output, slowed metabolism, a cascade of symptoms, exactly like classic hypothyroidism. So notice fatigue and weight gain and brain fog, constipation, hair loss. The list goes on and on and on. But you see, the thyroid may not be the villain in and of itself. It might just be the victim, if you will, of poor communication. Think of it like a neurological roadblock. And here's the kicker. 95 to 99% of people today have subluxations in their spine and don't even know it. In fact, there was a recent study done where they MRI'd hundreds of people, and they found that north of 90% of the people that had MRIs had visible evidence of subluxation, spinal misalignments, and neurological compression. The issue is you can't feel subluxations like you would feel a broken bone. Instead, what it is you feel the symptoms of the deficit to the nerve over time. So here's where this is something we have to connect. The brain has a communication process to the tissue, your thyroid, and also what's called the thyroid axis. So you have to think of it like this. We're going to talk about something called the neuroendocrine axis. It's how your brain and your spinal cord and your thyroid are intimately connected. At the top of this is the hypothalamic pathways. It's a small region of your brain that I want you to think of it as like it's the CEO. It's what's regulating all the hormones in your body. The sole purpose of the hypothyroid is, or the hypothalamic area, is to assess and read the conditions of the environment. If it detects something's off balance, the hypothalamic pathways signal the pituitary gland, which is often called the master gland. So when everything is working properly, the hypothalamus will say something like this. Hey, we need more thyroid hormone. This will signal the pituitary to release TSH, thyroid stimulation hormone, which travels through the bloodstream and goes into the thyroid gland and tells the thyroid to make more T4. But here's the twist. There's a neurological component to this as well. The vagus nerve, which is one of the upper cervical nerves, it's in the region from about C1 to C2 in the spine, carries a signal from the brain to the tissue as well, including your thyroid. If the nerves are irritated because of a spinal subluxation, the messages don't get through. It's like trying to record this radio show with me disconnecting the microphone. You wouldn't hear anything I'm saying, yet I'm actually saying. So if we go a little deeper into this, it's not just upper cervical nerves. The upper thoracic spine, T1 through T5, is a major player in hormone functionality. The vertebrae are connected to the sympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for fight or flight. An overstimulated sympathetic nervous system will suppress thyroid function because your body thinks it's in danger and wants to conserve energy. So what happens is, if you have a combination of either upper cervical or upper thoracic subluxation, I want you to think of it like this. Your thyroid could be just doing what it's supposed to be doing, but it's inappropriately doing it because the signal is disrupted or interfered with. This is why so many people develop hypothyroid symptoms, even though their labs are normal, because the issue isn't just biomechanical, it's neurological. Unless we correct spinal nerve interferences, no amount of medication can truly reset a thyroid. And this is where it's tricky. And I've seen this firsthand in practice. We have a patient who was 42 years old, and she came into us struggling with weight loss, resistance, and brain fog and forgetfulness. And the challenge was that her thyroid wasn't what was defective. There was a severe upper cervical cranial subluxation affecting the vagus nerve. We started doing chiropractic care. We opened up the vagal responses, which I'll show you guys in a moment. And she was able to get her energy to come back. Thyroid levels got to the point where it showed she was over-medicated, meaning she was in a hyperthyroid state because we cleared the neurological effect. And she was able to get off the thyroid medications using the help of her endocrinologist. And now, today, completely free of thyroid medications because she found the underlying root cause in her instance, which was a spinal subluxation. And let me read to you a couple case studies that have come out in the published studies in case you're going like, okay, hold on, Dr. Ernst, are you saying that my spine being out of alignment might actually cause my hypothyroidism? I mean, my doctor said it's genetic. I've been on my medication for 15 years. Like, there's no way. Well, listen to this. Just a couple years ago, resolution of hypothyroidism following chiropractic care by reducing vertebral subluxation. It's a case study that was published in the year 2020, so just a couple years ago. Listen to this. The cases of a patient 61 years old who had been taking care of their thyroid with medications. They had decreased energy for the last 2 years. They had been diagnosed with hypothyroidism, and again, were taking medications. The exam revealed subluxations in the upper cervical and the upper thoracic spine, and even in the lumbar spine. Interventions and outcomes. What did they do? A specific chiropractic technique called torque release to reverse spinal subluxations. 30 days into chiropractic care, the patient reported feeling an overall increased amount of energy and stability in her weight. 60 days, 2 months, the patient returned to their medical doctor, had an annual checkup, including the serum evaluations for thyroid. All labs revealed that TSH, T3, T4, free T3, and even free T4 were all within their normal reference range. And the body can heal by itself. Patient was able to reduce and eliminate medication usages in just 60 days. Here's another one. Resolution of hypothyroidism and improved cervical curve in a 52-year-old female receiving chiropractic care. It says here that a 52-year-old female presented to a chiropractor with a chief complaint of discomfort on the upper cervical spine and thoracic spine and had bilateral hip and knee pain. She was diagnosed with hypothyroidism by her medical doctor and was prescribed medications to treat the condition. A thorough history and exam was performed. We'll talk about this in a moment. And after just 9 months, now remember, this patient had been dealing with hypothyroidism for years. After just 9 months of regular subluxation-based chiropractic care, the patient reported blood work indicated that she no longer had hypothyroidism and her doctor removed her from all medications. 6 months following, patient was able to maintain perfect TSH, T4, T3 without medication. Patient is currently still under regular chiropractic care. I mean, I can keep going with this. Improved thyroid function following chiropractic care to reduce vertebral subluxations. Here's one that says resolution of hypothyroidism and irritable bowel syndrome in a 34-year-old female patient following chiropractic care to reduce subluxation. The research is out there, guys. It's evident. All you have to do is investigate and look for it. What are the reasons we end up with subluxations? I have the top 5 causes of spinal subluxations. These are going to shock you because I guarantee you almost every single one of you is dealing with at least one, if not all of them. Let's start with the number one reason that our spine gets out of alignment and it causes nerve interference, which can lead to thyroid dysfunction. Poor posture. This is one of the silent killers. Think of it as like the text neck or the hunched over sort of like arched back that we start to develop. Most of us are spending hours in front of screens with our necks down, cramming them forward, and we're looking into our electronic devices, and we've now developed what's called tech neck. When your head shifts forward just 1 inch, you ready for this? It adds an extra 10 pounds of pressure to the discs in your neck. Multiply that by years of bad posture, and you can start to see how subluxations can develop simply because of the world we live in today. All we're doing is spending time looking straight down at our devices. Posture isn't just about how you look, it's about how your nervous system performs function. Number 2, physical traumas. This could be anything from a car accident to an injury, all the way back to even when you were born. Many times the birth process is a very stressful method, and we fall as we learn to walk, and we bump into things, and we go through car accidents in our life. All of these create micro injuries that start to displace vertebra, and the real danger is microscopic subluxations are not something you feel. Think of it as like they're misalignments that go undetected for years. There's no bleeding, there's no bruising, there's no physical trauma, but the neurological damage starts to accumulate over time, and it leads to subluxation stress. Cause number 3, chemical stress. You might think of this as like the toxicities we talked about the first part of the hour. When we overburden our body with toxins, from the food we eat to the water we drink to the air we inhale, it inflames our tissues, which inflames our nervous system. Processed foods, pesticides, plastics, heavy metals, all the toxins we talked about at the top of the hour can create neurological stress that tightens muscles, restricts motion, and pulls on the spine and pulls it out of balance. You can't separate what's happening chemically from your body versus what's happening structurally. The more toxic we are, the more structural stress we have. Here's the challenge. The more structural stress we have, the more subluxated our spine gets, the more stressed our nervous system is, the more stressed the organ tissues are, and then they don't detox properly. So it's a perpetuating loop. Cause number 4, emotional stress. Okay, when you're constantly under pressure, worry, fear, grief, regret, your body often tightens up. Shoulders rise, the neck stiffens, muscles start to tighten. This is why so many of us have constant, trigger points and knots in our upper part of our spine, neck and shoulders. The tension leads to a distortion against the spine, which can cause your nervous system to be stuck in fight or flight, which, as we discussed, can dampen thyroid activity and also cause spinal subluxations. And finally, number 5, a big challenge, sedentary lifestyle. Look, your spine was designed to move, but most people do this. We sit at desks all day. We sit in our car all day. When we get home, we sit in front of the couch all day watching TV, and then when we're in bed, we're laying down all day. So without movement, joints stiffen, discs dehydrate, subluxations take root, much like weeds start growing inside of a garden. Motion is life. It's what allows the spine to become stimulated. So there you have it, the top 5 contributors to what are causing spinal subluxations. And if each of them are left unchecked, it can interfere with your nervous system, which can regulate your thyroid, your metabolism. It can regulate your energy levels and your overall vitality. So what I'd like to do now is kind of walk you through, how do we detect them? How do we find the regions that are affecting your body, specifically when we come into thyroid functionality? Let's start with your cervical spine. In the upper part of the spine, C1, C2, C3, even down even to C5, these vertebrae protect the spinal cord and the nerve roots that contribute to what's known as the vagus nerve. It's the primary communicator between your brain and your organs, including your heart and your digestive system, and yes, even your thyroid. When there's a subluxation in the upper cervical portion of the spine, specifically C1, C2, it's like placing a chokehold on the neurological communication. The brain's instructions to the thyroid become dysregulated, and when you don't get the proper signal, it's like trying to run your business without internet or to make a phone call without connection. Your brain must send a signal to your organs. And it's not just the only area of concern, as we've discussed. The upper part of your back, T1 through T5. These are the areas that control sympathetic nervous system. So if subluxations are present here, it's like you're stuck in stress mode, which downregulates thyroid hormone, And it can increase the likelihood of even autoimmunity because the body becomes overactive. So we start to see Hashimoto's thyroiditis even show up. So to put it plainly, cervical subluxations disrupt the brain to body organ connection, and thoracic subluxations overstimulate the nervous system and lead to hormonal chaos. And the worst part is they're often misaligned again because of our modern lifestyle. So we see forward head posturing, rolled shoulders, hunchbacks in almost every single patient we work with. And if you're dealing with a thyroid dysfunction, I pretty much guarantee you most physicians are not connecting the dots between spinal health and thyroid health. So how do we detect these? Well, the number one way of doing it is through a physical exam because you can't feel them. So posture is something we can look at directly. There's thermography, which is a device where you can hold a camera at the body. When the skin has abnormal temperature variations, it shows us the areas of interference because if there's a subluxation interfering with nerve flow, we see temperature asymmetrical. One side of the spine will be hot, the other will be cold. Think of it like hot and cold zones revealing where the spine is stressed out. It's visible proof of a neurological interference. The gold standard, of course, is digital X-ray evaluation after an examination. X-rays can physically show us the alignment of each individual vertebra. Using AI technology today, we can measure the spacing, we can measure the placement, we can measure the alignment off central gravity lines. And the benefit of what we have now through digital X-ray and AI assessment is we can create what's called a digital spinal blueprint. It's like telling us the integrity of each spinal nerve and how much functionality is going through that. So if we're looking at thyroid, we're going to be doing upper cervical and upper thoracic to confirm it's in proper alignment. The truth is, of course, you can't guess with your spinal health. You can't just wake up and say, oh, I feel like my spine's in perfect alignment. You must test for it. And then when we talk about testing, now that we locate them, we have to talk about how do you remove a subluxation. And this is where the power of what is found inside the Thyroid Heal Thyself ebook is. Text the word thyroid plus your name and email to 704-906-2094. I have an entire section dedicated to chiropractic care for the restoration of the spine and the enhancement of your nervous system. How does chiropractic physically work? Well, it's designed to detect the misalignment and apply a force either with an instrument or through an adjustment to reset the spine into normal position. We're not talking about cracking bones. We're talking about unlocking your nervous system to get it back into its initial alignment to reconnect the brain to the body for proper communication. We use a combination of instruments, an arthrostim, which can percuss the joints. We use mirror image techniques where we actually position you in a position opposite of the subluxation while we do the adjustment. We have physiotherapies, whole body vibration, body weighting techniques, spinal molding. All of this can be used to reset the spine back into its normal alignment, removing the subluxation stress and allowing the brain to communicate with your body. And again, what's the benefit of this? Well, the research shows resolution of hypothyroid in a 34-year-old patient, resolution of hypothyroid in a 59-year-old patient, resolution of a hypothyroid in a 52-year-old female patient, resolution of hypothyroid in a 61-year-old female patient. The evidence is there to show if you get your spine realigned, reconnected, back into its original position, and you remove spinal subluxations, brain-to-body communication is enhanced, and the tissues simply work. And I want to be very clear, chiropractic is not a treatment for hypothyroidism. We don't treat the thyroid. We're correcting the interference in the spine that is causing the communication disruption, and then the thyroid fixes itself. The same power that formed your thyroid when it was created is the same power that can make it function today. See, your body was never designed to be sick. It was designed to heal by itself. But healing is impossible without communication. So what chiropractic does is it doesn't treat the condition of hypothyroidism, it treats the condition of subluxation. It removes the interference in communication, which restores brain-to-body connection, and that allows the body to then heal by itself. So, wow, we've gone a lot over today, haven't we? We talked about the top 5 toxins associated with thyroid dysfunction, how those toxins shut off productivity of thyroid hormones, they blunt the receptors, and they cause dysfunction at the hormone level. So if you have toxins associated with your hypothyroidism, you could diet, you could detox, you could do everything, and we start to pull them, and your body can begin to heal by itself. Then we discuss how spinal subluxation, interferences in the vagal nerve and the upper thoracic nerves, could be physically disconnecting how your brain is actually sending an electrochemical signal to the tissue itself. If we address these two components, and we talk about what we did last week with addressing the autoimmunity, now you have an action step to allow your body to begin to heal by itself. So if you've been living with fatigue or stubborn weight gain or mood swings or cold hands and cold feet, despite the fact of having a diagnostic condition of hypothyroidism, or maybe you do, there's still a way out. I'd like to text the word thyroid plus your name and email to 704-906-2094. We'll zip the Thyroid Heal Thyself ebook over to you. It has everything we just talked about today. And I implore you, join me for the Thyroid Heal Thyself Summit. It is an online masterclass, Saturday, April 12th at 10 a.m. in the morning, completely free. It's your way to break free. 704-906-2094. Text the word thyroid with your name and email. Hey, it's the Ask Dr. Ernst show. We'll see you guys next week as we continue the conversation of how you can heal yourself, get your energy back, get your weight down, and get your body back to being its vibrant self. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next week.